Hello everyone and welcome back to this channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how you can add a cool preloader to your website. And basically a preloader can be used when you'd like to load your site assets such as images first, and then while it is happening you want to show the website visitors a progress bar or something so that they know something is happening in the background. Once the assets are loaded, then it will be a smoother experience for the visitors to navigate throughout the website. So for example, in my portfolio website, I have this preloader. So this is happening when I'm loading my website, and obviously it was like a little bit fast, but it's just because it depends on number of assets that you're using on your website. For me, just a few, so it's not gonna take that long, but you just can't kind of show what something is happening. We're preloading everything, and that's the effect where you only see when you're loading this website. So like when you're during your page transition, obviously I've done a different kind of loading and transition, and I have video on that. You can go check that out. But no matter what endpoint you use to basically load this website, that first preloader is gonna show up, and then depending on what page you are, it will be loading the assets for that page, and then you can basically have a better experience there. Everything is already gonna be loaded. So that's what we're gonna work on today. But before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below and turn the notifications on so that you will be the first to know when I publish new videos. So first thing we need to do is to go to this GitHub repo. As always, I normally put a starter code, and also I will put the final repo of this project on GitHub. So for the starter code, we're gonna use the final code from one of my previous videos. I'll put a link to this in the description box of this video. So go there and download the zip file or clone this repository, and then you can open it in your IDE of choice. I am using VS Code here. So once you do that, you first need to do npm install to install all the packages, and once all the packages are installed, you can do npm start to start your dev server. If you don't know what these files and folders are, I have a video where I explain basically this Webpack boilerplate, and we have been adding to that boilerplate since the first video where I explained that. But you can check out any of the videos that I have, and you'll find out how we've been working with this folder. So if I go now to localhost 3000, you will see that I have it's working, this welcome homepage, and then I'll have an about page also. So what we're gonna do is to add a preloader to this website to load our images, and then basically give the website visitors a better experience, kind of, because already we have all the images preloaded. So to get started, first thing we're gonna do is to add a partial here, as I've been doing with like cursor and transition stuff in my previous videos. So I'm gonna add a preloader now Pug. I explain, I have videos for every single one of these, so you can go and check it out in my channel. So this preloader.pug, we need to decide what we want to show when the website is loading. As I already told you in my portfolio, I have like this thing like with my name and the percentage of the load. We're gonna do a similar thing but a little bit different. So I've showed this website to you in one of my previous videos, frontend.com CSS loaders. I am going to use one of these cool loaders there. So basically this one is what I'm gonna use, and you can get the code from here, this code pen. I'll put the link to this website and this code pen in the description of this video as well. But all you need to do is basically copy the HTML and CSS and make appropriate changes. I'm not going to go through the process because I already kind of have done that. So for the Pug file for our HTML, as you can see here, we have like a container and then one class for each of these like circles, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm also adding a percentage text as I have in my portfolio website also. So the loader is gonna be instead of my name, and we'll still have that percentage down there. In this tutorial we're gonna do that. So this is gonna be our Pug file, and then we need to add this to our index.pug because we need to make sure that we are including that in our website flow. So it's gonna be partial slash preloader. That's good. The next thing we need to do is to add the CSS or SCSS in our case here. I'm gonna create a new one here, preloader.scss, and again it's going to be this CSS here, but obviously we need to like make a little bit changes to match our class names here, and also make sure that we get what we want to. So I also have that code here. Let's see. All right, so I'm just copying here. So we have all the code here. I just make sure that I have all the class names right, and I made a couple of changes to make sure it fits our project. So if I save this, I also need to add this SCSS file in our entry point for our SCSS for our stylings, which is this index.scss file. So I am going to add preloader here, and now we have everything. I believe we should see something when we go to localhost. So yeah, you can see that exactly what we had here. We also have it here. Right now it's just like on top of everything because I have a position fixed for it, and it's got a z index of 10, which is greater than all the other z indexes that I have, so it's gonna be on top of everything. What we're gonna do, we're gonna transition these out kinda, and then like each these circles and the text, and then the whole preloader component, and then we'll see the actual page once we like kind of like fade this out or move it. So that's gonna be the process, and we are gonna also show the percentage of the images that we've are loaded, so that the website visitors, they know something is happening, because without this it's gonna be like, oh, these and just like they know something is loading, but they don't know how long they have to wait, kinda. So we make sure that we take care of that as well. So let's see. For all our front end JavaScript stuff, we have that in under this app folder, index.js. There is the entry point for that for all our front end JavaScript. So what I'm gonna do is to add a preloader here. So I'm gonna add that. We can add that after this create content. Again, if you don't know what's happening here, I've explained in my original video with Webpack boilerplate, and also we've been building on that, on top of that. So like, for example, I have another video where I explain how we can add this custom cursor, we can add transitions. So you can go and find those videos on my channel. So now we need to add our preloader. Let's see, we can add it here. Preloader, it should be create preloader. And what we are gonna do is, again, similar to what we did like for transition. We're gonna define the preloader, and then we're gonna add the code in a separate file, preloader here. So we have to go and make that file, but it is going to be under the components. So we're gonna go under components. We have the transition there, kind of similar way that we've been doing for the other things that we've been adding to this website. I'm gonna add preloader.js here, and the first thing we're gonna do is basically we're gonna define our we've been doing object-oriented programming, so I'm gonna do export default class preloader here also, and I'm gonna add my constructor for now. I'll have constructor, and after that, that's all we have right now, just the console.log to make sure that this is working. I need to save index.js also. Let's see if this needs to be capital, this preloader. Oh, not this, sorry, it just needs to be preloader, yeah. So it should we should see, yeah, we do see this preloader in our console, so everything works fine. Now what I'm gonna do is to basically give an opacity of 0 to these two elements here at the load time, and then I'm gonna do a GSAP animation to make them appear after. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So our preloader container has the 4 circles, and then our preloader number text here, it has the text there, the percentage. So that's gone now. We're just gonna like kind of start it with a cool animation of them appearing in the page. So for that, we'll go to our preloader.js in our constructor. I'll add this GSAP. I do need to import GSAP also here, so let's do import GSAP from GSAP. So that's gonna take care of the import. let's see what we see here. So yeah, it's kind of like super quick, but now we see them. You can add like a delay or something to make sure that actually the user sees the appearance of these components, but that's okay. The next thing is we're gonna basically take care of the image loading and showing everything in that preloader page. So for preloader, what I'm gonna do is actually use a Stack Overflow post. So basically we need to make sure that all are to use this image onload, and while the images are being loaded, we display that percentage is like changing and our images are being loaded. And then to do that, we're gonna kind of use the same approach that we see here in this Stack Overflow post. I'll put a link in the video to this post also if you want to know more, but basically we're gonna use the onload image function. So first thing, we need to grab all our images, and to do that, it's just a query selector on all our images. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through a for each loop, and then I am going to get every image there. And as I just showed you, we're gonna have image.onload, and then once it's loaded, we will basically let the program know that the images are loaded, and we show that loading progress also, and then we get rid of the preloader and show the main content of the page. So to do that, to see how many images are loaded, we also need to add an index. Add the index here. We can get that from the for each, because we need to know which index we are working on right now, and we need to also know the total images that we have, and for that we're gonna do images.length, the length here. So it's gonna be a simple process, and I'm just gonna copy that process here. So we have our percentage, which will be like the index that we are loading right now, +1, because the index starts from 0. So if we only have one image, we need to be like having 1/1. Total is gonna be 1 and index is 0, so we need to add +1 there, because the indexing starts at 0. Also cancel that like percent so that we know it. Once that's done, we are going to make changes to our number here. That is what we have in our preloader number text. If you go and see the preloader Pug here, so we're gonna make changes to that. We use inner HTML, and then we're gonna round that percentage and show that instead of 0%, so it will be increasing until it gets to 100%. And then once that is done, once percent is 1, we are going to actually define this all loaded, and what it's gonna do, it's gonna just get rid of the preloader page and all the text and those 4 circles in there. For that, before we do that, let's see that Stack Overflow post again. We need to also assign the source file back to those images. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna also do that, and to get the source here, we can get that from the original image. Get attribute source, so that's the source of the original image. So let's see what happens here. So we have only one image here, so I'm just gonna comment this one out because we don't have the function yet. Since we only have one image, it's gonna be real quick, so you can see like it didn't really take any time, and we have 100%. In my about page, I've added like 2 images, so like still it's gonna be real quick. But if I go to about page, I've added like 2 images here, just so that you can see the process and how the loading is working. I'll go to about page. You can see that we have like 0.5 and 1. That's the like 50% and 100%. I also want to go to this network tab here, and let's disable cache, and then we go fast 3G to see like this loading process. I'm gonna start it again. It's gonna like take a little bit of time. The load is gonna be real quick again, but like I've slowed it down, and then like we see the 0.5 and 1. So it seems like it's working. So I'm just gonna go back to the original settings there, and yeah, so this is working right now. What we need to do is here we need to define what we're gonna do once this one is loaded. So first thing we want to do is really just like get rid of the preloader and the text, everything in there. For that, I have again like some GSAP code ready. We can actually do a timeline. Let's see. Yeah, let's actually write it down. I'm gonna have a timeline, and then we can add some to or from to anything you want to do, just like add to it. So let's see. I am getting rid of the container, which is what we have here, the 4 circles and then the number text, just basically moving them like 100% up or down. And then once that's done, I also want to get rid of the whole page. Let's see if this works. Hopefully, let's see what happens. So yeah, it happens real quick. So we might want to add a little bit of delay so that like our viewers actually see something happening. Like it is 100, but we do a delay just for a better user experience. If you have like, I don't know, 50 images there, it might take a while, so you don't need this delay, but right now we do need it. Now the next thing we need to do is to basically send like a message kind of back to this preloader here, and let it know that, like, let our program know that the preloading, the image loading is done, and then we move on with getting rid of this kind of blue page. To do that, we are gonna use EventEmitter. That's like basically Node.js gives you all these events. You can like emit events, basically let the other code in your program know that like one part of the code is done, and it's easy to implement. What we need to do, we need to use the events package from this comes with Node.js, so you don't need to install anything, and all we need to do is to extend our event emitter. We need to also add a super here just to make sure that everything works fine. I'm gonna get rid of this preloader console.log, and once this is done, what we want to do when this whole like image loading process is done is we can add an incomplete function here to our GSAP, and there for now I'm just gonna like show a message that everything is completed. So console.log completed, and just format this document again, and let's see what happens now. Hopefully we see something. So it's happening, 2 seconds, and it's completed. So once that's completed, we can actually emit a message to like our index.js, a complete message. So to do that, we can do this.emit, and we say completed, and we need to receive that message here. To do that, I guess I'm just like simplifying the terminology here. Just we're gonna say that once we receive that completed message, and that's how we do it, completed, then we are going to define a callback function here and get rid of our entire page. And our page, basically our component was this .preloader, our class was preloader, and we're gonna just set the auto alpha to 0. That's gonna like get rid of it. Let's see how that works. So it's gonna load, it's very quick, it's gonna disappear, and then just to make sure, we also have our page animation. We can do animate in. This is something that I explained during like one of my previous videos, so you can go check it out. We want to have like a cool animation effect for the page content to appear just like that from left to right. So since we only have 2 images, it's kind of real fast. We did add a 2-second delay there. If we go to like our home page, we're gonna see everything is working fine. So yeah, that's basically how you do it. You can get creative with what you want to show in this here, and also anything else related to what we talked. I was just trying to give you like the big picture idea how you can implement it. It's a good thing for kind of like creative web development, where you have like these page transitions, and you're like loading stuff at the beginning. So it's gonna be very helpful, a better experience with your user. By the way, we have like total of 3 images in this website, but like if my entry point is about page, that's only gonna do the about page images, and then if my entry point is my home page, then we have only 1 image here, and we are gonna load that 1 image. If we are like going from one page to another like page in our website, we can take care of the loading during the transition, and that's something that you may want to keep in mind. All right, so I guess that's about it. if you like this video, if you found it helpful, please make sure to just hit the like button. And if you are new to this channel, again, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn the notification bell on. If you have any questions, you can leave your questions in the comment section down below. Any suggestions, please let me know. And yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you soon.